Matt Jolly, right here on Georgia Radio.
Well, it's always great to talk to Lola Schaefer, and she joins me right now from her home in Atlanta. She's coming out to Carrollton for our Bookfest on April 4 and 5. You can sign up for her masterclass today. 280 published children's books. That's a lot of anything. Lola, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, 280. How did you start out in this, writing children's books?
Well, I was a classroom teacher, and at that time I saw how much my students, no matter which grade I taught, really valued the power of a good piece of literature. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to write a book one day that would still be on the planet long after I wasn't, and children would still be reading it? And at that time, I had never taken a writing course, knew nothing about writing since we didn't do original writing when I was in school. So I started attending writing conferences and listening to writers and editors, art designers, everyone about the business, kept practicing. And 3 years later, I sold my first picture book. Wow.
And now 279 more of them in the can. You're developing a master class. You're going to be bringing that to Carrollton Bookfest this year. And it's a great idea for anyone that has any interest in writing a children's book. You're going to be talking about plot development, pacing, dialogue, all of this stuff in this workshop. If someone's on the fence about coming, give us the pitch to come to your master class this year.
Well, as anybody knows who writes, it takes a lot of self-discipline. So it needs to be something that you really want to do, first of all. And this masterclass isn't just for people who are starting out. It can be for people who have sold one or two books, whether that be middle grade novel, picture book, easy reader, but just kind of need that boost again to think outside of their box and think about craft and what is selling in today's marketplace. So I encourage anyone who's really serious about writing for children to come and explore the craft of writing with us that day.
And it's all children's genres too. I want to be clear on that, right? I mean,
Yes, it is. Everything from board books up through YA. Yes, it is.
And this is a big market. I don't know how big it is today, but I mean, this writing for children really is a massive, massive market. Have you found it easier to acquire publishing when it's in this genre, or is it just the exact opposite and more challenging?
I've heard that it is more difficult to publish a children's book than it is an adult novel. So I know that the market is tight, they say right now, and yet every day you see sales to people who are, excited about their debut children's novel or their debut children's picture book. I think it's like anything else. If you have an original idea or an original execution on a benchmark that all kids go through, and you can write that beautifully, you'll get it published. But it is difficult to reach publishers in today's market. It almost requires having an agent, just because they get inundated with thousands, literally between 8,000 and 12,000 manuscripts a year at each publishing house. And so they need a way to kind of weed through those numbers so that they can do their jobs.
Get above the news floor. If you want to do that, Lola Schaefer is giving this master class here at Carrollton Bookfest coming up in just a few days now, the 4th and the 5th of April. Is it still possible to get in to your class?
Well, I just asked the organizers that the other day. They said there were still a few openings for the master class, and I should reiterate that's only on the 4th. All master classes are being offered on the 4th, and then the General Book Fest, which features all kinds of adult novelists and nonfiction writers, is the 5th.
That's going to be great. What do you wish you had known back when you got started?
Oh, so much. So much. Don't we all? Probably to stay true to your own passions. I think a lot of times when people are entering any new field, they try to please others, which of course you have to do a little bit just to get in the game. But when it comes to writing, you have to write about what you truly care about. And I know that one of the old sayings is write what you know, but that's not necessarily true, especially in this world of nonfiction. You can also write about something you want to know about. When I write nonfiction, I work with the experts in the field around the world, and I learn so much. And I learn things that aren't in books yet out there for anyone, let alone children. And so I'd say really hang on to those topics and your own belief system when you begin to write.
I like that. Don't be afraid to stick to your core values. Is what I'm
Exactly.
hearing. And your core interests
Yes.
too. I think that's good advice just for anybody, and it's good words to live by. Your website is lolaschaefer.com. We're going to quick link that into the show story so it's easy for folks to find. The masterclass is coming up at the Carrollton Bookfest on April the 4th, and then again on the 5th. You can come back, come and spend the whole weekend. We're having quite an event, as my buddy Wayne would say. It's a big doodah going on the 4th and 5th of April here in Carrollton, and we're looking forward to having you out here. Any last minute stuff to throw in here, Lola, before we let you get back to your day here?
We want to hook children early on the power of reading, and we always need new voices to do that so that every child can find his or herself in a good book.
Well, that's well said, like an author would say. Lola Schaefer, thanks for coming by today. It's really great to hear you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at Bookfest in Carrollton, Georgia on April the 4th and the 5th. You can visit our website for that. It's carrolltonbookfest.com, and you can visit Lola's website to learn more about her and her writing at lolaschaefer.com. Great having you on, Lola.
Thank you a million.
Matt Jolly, right here on Georgia Radio.